Guys, what's going on? I've got the Blackhorse Viper Mark II R. Got this thing put together so far. I got everything with uh, the control surfaces all put in and everything. So I was supposed to make a video putting this together. I'm sorry I didn't. I did, but then I didn't have everything. So I didn't want to give you guys like half the job. So I was like, yeah, I'll just go back over it and talk about what I did to get this jet together. So as you know, it comes as an R. You really don't get hardly anything put together. I mean, it's coated. It's it's got everything else, like the main pieces already done. But the thing is, it's like you're gonna have to put your own, well, not your own, but they supply you with the linkages, the hinges for the aileron, the hinges for the flaps, the hinges for the horizontal stabilizers, the vertical stabilizers. You see I got tape on it because I don't have any servos in yet. My servos are on the way. Guys, I'm standing up, and I'm 5'10", 5'11". I'm standing up and I can just reach out and grab the tail of this thing. This bird is huge. I haven't put the light covers on the wing yet because I'm waiting on my lights as well. But you're gonna have to put all that stuff together. You're gonna have to glue the hinges in. You're gonna have to glue the control surfaces to the hinges. These holes here, they're in there, but you're gonna have to cut the film. You're gonna have to put cut the film to get the wires to fish through for the servos and everything, which I'm going with a quick connect hookup deal. So kind of like how your FMS Rafale does, and what's another bird that does it, that just kind of quick connects. Basically, it's like it just allows all the connections to plug in when I connect the wing to the fuselage, so I don't have to do all that fishing wires through. It's gonna be a nice clean button up, and I'm gonna pop it open here in just a second and show you guys what I got going on. So I had to do this outside because I don't live in a really great big house or anything like that, just the average size house. But I couldn't get the camera zoomed out enough to where I can show this whole thing, so I had to come outside to do it. Still need to clean it up after doing all of the assembly. You can see my fingerprints all over the coating. So I gotta wash it down, clean it up. Got the pallet in there, glued the canopy on, well, the canopy top on, because you got to glue that on as well. You're also gonna have to put all of these trim pieces here in, where you got to cut the hole so you can access your screws for the surfaces. By the way, they have metal tubes, so the spars for the horizontal and vertical stabs are aluminum or metal spars, or aluminum spars. So they are pretty beefy. The plane is still pretty light, and I don't have an EDF in it yet, so there's nothing to show you there. But you're gonna have to glue your fiberglass nozzle on. That's kind of what it looks like on the inside there from back here. I didn't put the tube in yet, so I gotta put the tube in there as well. So once I get the tube in, then I'll show you guys all of that. Once I get the tube and the jet fan 110 EDF, I'll put all that together and I'll show you guys all of that as well. But I'm just gonna dig in a little bit on what I got done so far. So let's get this canopy open. A little hard to do with one hand. Yeah, it's really hard to do with one hand. I'm gonna set you guys down for a second. All right, guys, that canopy was on there pretty tight. I may have to do some tapping out on those holes back there on one of them because the this one over here was fitting really tight, like extremely tight. But just to show you guys what I got going on inside here. So starting from the front, it uses a pull mechanism for steering. So it steers by using a pull mechanism. You can see the wires there. They lead through the tubes that goes up to the nose gear, and that's how it does its steering. With the servo in the middle here, I'm using a VTEC servo for the steering. This is a 35 gram, I think it is, or is it 25 gram? I can't remember now, but yeah, so a lot of servo there for steering. Shouldn't have any problems with that. ZTW 18 amp, the peak 18 amps. It's a constant 12 amp. So the UBEC is constant 12 amp, but it's 18 amp. I'm currently running that on 8 volts. So got my XT60 connection right there. Got the wires ran all through the fuselage as nice and neat as I could get it. This is one of the UBEC outputs. That one will go to the receiver. I haven't hooked that up to the receiver yet because this is not the receiver I'm going to be using. This was just in here for basically testing and making sure everything's sitting in place where I wanted it. So that's not the receiver that I'm going to be using. Also running the ZTW 160 amp Skyhawk ESC from Motion RC. That is capable of up to 14S. So very strong ESC there. Off to the side of it is the Phoenix model retract controller. Move that receiver out of the way. Phoenix model retract controller. Like I said, none of this is going to sit like how you see here. All that's going to get tucked away a lot nicer. That's running off of the UBEC as well. Uses 7.4 to 8.4 volts input. That is it comes with that little XT30, and of course you got to solder it up yourself. You see I use some soldering sleeves there to make that happen. Just wanted to try to keep it as clean as possible, so I went that way about it, guys. I got one battery strap here. I didn't put the other one in yet, but I'm assuming batteries are probably going to run either right up in this area or right up in this area, strapped at its middest point. But I can't determine that yet until I put the EDF in there and use the CG tools that come with it. But as you see, that's the spar that I'm telling you guys about. Pretty beefy spar back there. So a lot of spar back there, and some of these wires are they're gonna have to go towards the wings. So you see some just kind of several leads just kind of dangling, but for the most part everything that's up on this end, I got it all nicely routed through. So basically I could keep a clean area right through here, so I don't have any wires just all up in the way there. Some running under the tray as well. I'm gonna leave that comes with fiberglass intake ducts that you can actually put in the intake. I'm gonna leave that partially out, and when I say partially out, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the side of the intake ducts that runs along that side, but the inner side of it, I'm going to cut the inner side of it out. That way I can still get airflow coming across the ESC, and it can get cooled off, also increase the airflow coming in. But I don't want that roughness right there running against the frame of the frame of it coming in. So to smoothen it out a little bit on that way, on that side, I'm gonna just cut the leave the outer edge of it there, and I'm gonna cut the inside of it out, so that way it can just kind of just roll in nice and smooth. So I'm gonna get all that installed, and that way, like I said, I can keep that nice airflow coming into the EDF, a nice smooth airflow coming into the EDF, and not have a lot of restriction there. So the more airflow you can get, the more you can maximize that thrust. And especially with using a jet fan, I don't think it's gonna like being restricted too much. So we're definitely not gonna restrict it. But guys, I'm really taking my time trying to set this one up. I got AGF servos coming for this plane to go into the rear of it. This is, like I said, guys, this is a nice, awesome jet. This is a really nice and awesome jet, man. I mean, I haven't flown it, so I can't say it's awesome in terms of how it flies, but just looking at it, and I'm not gonna clip that all the way down because I need to do some adjusting on that, but just by looking at it, I mean, look at it, man. Look at this thing. It is beautiful, man. I like it. I love it. This is a really nice Viper, like the king of the EDF Vipers. You know, it's balsa wood and fiberglass, and I mean it doesn't have much, you know, the wings can handle the airframe. I mean, look at the size of those wings. Like I'm standing back about, let's see here, I'm probably standing back away from this thing about, from its center portion where the spar is, I'm probably standing about 6 feet, maybe 6.5, 7 feet away from it, just so I can fit it in the frame of the camera. So I get any closer to it, you know, it starts becoming a little bit of a mess. You will have to glue on the ventral fins. They will have to be glued on. And so basically that's all the gluing you'll do. You'll do the ventral fins, you glue that on, you glue in your hinges, and that's basically all the gluing you'll do, and gluing the canopy top on. And that's where all your gluing is gonna come in at there. You're gonna have to glue on your light covers, so that'll have to get glued as well. But other than that, I mean, everything else just kind of pops into place and screws in. Oh, you're gonna have to glue on the intake. So there's quite a number of gluing. You have to glue on these red trims for the intake. They don't come already on the fuselage. The wheel pants, or well, not wheel pants, but the wheel wells, you're gonna have to glue those on as well. I put the front wheel well in, and I made a mistake of, I guess, how I sat it in there. Ended up having to pull it back up. Kind of messed up my coat a little bit, but no big deal. I can fix that. I even did some research and found that it's better to leave it out to maximize airflow across the batteries and across the ESC, so you can get that extra cooling for them. So I'm gonna just leave that out. It's basically gonna act as a cheater hose slash cooling point as well for the jet. So that's what I'm gonna do with that. And that's basically about it, guys. I'm excited. I'm I'm ready to fly it. I mean, that jet fan's gonna probably push this thing pretty wild, man, because my understanding is supposed to weigh about 20 pounds loaded. I'm trying to reduce that as much as possible. And AGF servos aren't heavy, they're pretty light in weight, but they're also really precise and really strong. So hopefully using those lighter servos are gonna help lighten that weight from being 20 pounds to try to slim it down to as close to 19 as it can get. I don't think it's gonna drop it that much. Probably using some SMC packs or some sort of graphene packs or some sort of lightweight packs. That'll help lighten the load a little bit more. But with that jet fan, running somewhere about 18 to 21 pounds, based on what I saw based on the specs on paper, I mean, that's gonna be wild. That's gonna be wild. So, all right, guys. Well, that's all I wanted to pop in here for, and just give you guys an update on the Blackhorse Viper and how the build is coming. And she's looking great. Get her all finished, put together, give her a bath, clean all my nasty little fingerprints off it, and call it a day. Then the next video will be where I do the maiden flight, and I'll make sure you guys are there. All right, have a wonderful day and a safe evening. RC Pilot Will out.